I'm going to be doing a gel polish removal video, step by step, how I remove my gel polish. So I am taking off my top coat, the shine off my entire nail. I'm not completely scratching away at the paint, just the top layer. For this video, I was going to apply my press-ons that I made in my last video, but I had decided not to. I decided I wanted to just do acrylic instead. So I'll be showing how I prepare my nails step by step for an acrylic application. Once I have finished filing off the top layer of my gel manicure, I'm going to grab some cotton balls and I'm going to open them just like I'm doing. And sometimes 3 or 4 is good enough, unless you're a little bit messier or you have a lot of product on, you might want more. But this is what I do for economic purposes. So I'm grabbing all my soak off clips because I'm going to be using soak off clips with my cotton ball to soak my gel manicure off. So I like to rip them into 3 pieces, usually is good enough, and I place them right onto my nails, fully soaked in acetone, and I clip them on. And I'll be leaving these clips on for usually recommended 15 minutes, 10 minutes, just depending on how much it is, how much product you have on your nail too. Sometimes you'll have a thicker amount, or sometimes it's just a thin. Gel works best in thin, but I'm going to be soaking them for 10 to 15 minutes. So I just killed the bug. Yeah, that happened. Another way that I also apply my cotton ball with my clips of soap is I apply the cotton ball or the cotton piece straight into the clip, and then I place my finger inside of the clip, because sometimes it's hard with my non-dominant hand to place the cotton on top of my nail and then place the clip, especially when I have already clips on my other hand. But that's just another way that you can do it without the cotton ball falling over 100 times. This is my last cotton piece for my thumb, and as you can see, it is still a little bit fuzzy, which means I didn't apply enough acetone to that cotton. You want to make sure that your cotton is completely soaked, even if it's a little tiny drip, just to ensure that the acetone will penetrate the gel polish to strip it away from your natural nail without you having to file so much. You're gonna see when I get to that thumb on my left hand that I need to apply the clip one more time because I didn't saturate my cotton enough with acetone. I had attempted to take off a little bit of the gel polish on my pinky, but as you can see, it wasn't coming off all the way, so I decided to leave it on a little longer. I was kind of getting impatient. I didn't want to wait for the full 10 minutes, so I think I took it off like 5 minutes into soaking, but I went right back in and put the clips back in. And I am now taking off as much as I can because again I was just ready to take it off already. So I took them off of the clip, put it back on for another 2-3 minutes. So I don't even think it fully soaked for 10 minutes, but I didn't apply too much of a thick layer when I did my manicure, so it was pretty easy to come off and pretty fast. So I started filing away at this hand, and it seemed like it was still not soaked enough. I tried it for the next 4 fingers, and it just kept giving me the same result. So I ended up putting all the clips back on and waiting just a few more minutes for them to soak. So once my gel polish had been soaking for a little bit longer, it was able to easily come off without me having to overfile my nail bed and thin out my nail. This is the morning after soaking off my gel manicure. I was going to do the press-on set, but I had decided to do acrylic. So here I am sizing my nail tips to my nail beds, making sure that they all fit sidewall to sidewall. This is a tips case that I had gotten many years ago. I think it was on Wish. I don't know if anybody remembers Wish, but I think it was on Wish. And the tips are all different style tips. They're pretty similar, but they are all different. So I have to make sure that I am giving myself the right kind of tip, not only the right size, because they were off brand and they were off of a cheaper website, but they work just fine. They're still pretty sturdy. And there are, I think, 2 or 3 different sizes in each, 2 or 3 different styles in each size, which makes it a little bit harder. So you see me constantly testing them, but you want to make sure that you have the right tip, because that can really play a toll on your nail popping off or breaking, because it might not be the right size. So I am actually in tips, not really so much in press on full well tips, but in these half cut tips, moon cut tips, I have to make sure that I'm getting the right size, because I believe it's my middle finger and sometimes my thumb have a middle size, like between 4 and 3. So I have to cut the corners of my tips to make sure that they fit properly. Here you see me cleaning off my nail bed just a little bit. I don't usually have oily nail beds, but I'm doing it just to do it, because I'm going to be adding my tips on with the glue, and I just want to make sure that it's 100% dehydrated. So I'm starting off with my pinky, as always. This is a brand new glue. It's a very popular glue, but this is not my usual brand that I go with. So it's very fast working, and the one that I'm used to is a little bit slower working. So it was a little bit difficult for me to work with it, but I kind of got it. The thing about it is that every time I would, not intentionally, because I wouldn't do it too hard, but when I would squeeze the bottle a little bit to get some glue out, it would just blob. And it ended up blobbing really, really bad on my thumb. And since that thumb, it just continued to blob out after every other nail on my other hand. So you just gotta make sure to get a glue that works for you. So you want to hold your tips on your nail for about 10 to 15 seconds, depending on what type of glue you have. And you want to make sure that when you apply your glue, you don't either apply too much or too little. You want to apply just enough on the center and apply it at a 45-degree angle and just rock the nail. Not really move it back and forth, but just like apply it and just slowly press down from 45-degree angle to flat, so that the nail glue can just spread itself and you'll see it, and that ensures that you don't get any air bubbles in your nail glue and tip, so that your nails don't pop off. Even with applying the acrylic on top, it'll still have an air bubble, and that air bubble can cause your nail to break or pop off or anything like that. Even if it's just in the corner, even if it's just a little bit, you don't want any water to get in there and give you a nail infection. So you got to make sure to apply it properly. In this case, you can see me adding some cotton and a clip to my thumb. I had snipped it off because I tried to, since it wasn't coming out enough glue, I tried to add some more glue to the top of the tip for it to like seep into the corners, because I was trying to avoid the corners being lifted away from my nail bed. But it ended up blobbing, as I explained earlier, and I made a mess, and it got all over my hands, and I had to soak it off of my hands too, and off of my nail. I soaked that tip off and I applied a brand new one. But that's why you want to make sure, one, to get a nail glue that works for you, and two, to apply enough the first time around, because when you notice that there's not enough glue even in the corners of your nail tips, you can get an infection when water gets in, or your nails can pop off. But I just continued with my set. I just let that soak on my thumb for a little bit, and I continued applying the rest of the tips on my other hand. As you can see, my glue just kept on blobbing, so I was using a buffer to just kind of dump a little bit of that glue off, because I didn't know where else to put it. I didn't want to put it on paper or anything like that, just in case. So I just put it onto the buffer and I just tossed it away. As you see, you want to apply it at a 45-degree angle, and you want to just let the glue spread by itself. And you hold it there for 10 to 15 seconds, depending on your glue, up to 30 seconds, even up to 90 seconds, depending on your glue, so that they're stuck on properly. Now that my tips are fully dry, I am going in with my tip cutter and I am clipping them. 2 magnet sizes. I wish I would have gone a little longer because I like them long, but I ended up going, it's cute, but I should have done longer. But they're still cute. I like the size. They're not too short. Short is fine too. Short is fine too. But I wish I would have gone with a little bit longer size in this set. I miss long nails. Over here, I am blending my tip to my natural nail and scratching the top of my natural nail so I can have better adhesion. So I am prepping for my application of acrylic. I'm dehydrating my nail while filing the tip. Technically, you don't have to file the sidewalls at all, because once you apply the acrylic, it's gonna be filed anyway. This is something that you really want to do if you are doing a different shape, especially like a stiletto or ballerina. because ballerina being like tapered, because you want to make sure that the shape is close enough to what you want, so you're not doing so much filing of your product once it's applied. But I just do it, even though it's a square, I just do it, and I'm doing that as well as my blending. So once I'm finished filing the tip to my natural nail and the sides, I am going in with my Sally Hansen's Instant Cuticle Remover Gel on all my cuticles so that I can push back my cuticles right before application and they're out the way, and I can make sure that my dehydration process reaches all the way to the top. I go in with my cuticle pusher in a circular motion to ensure that all the dead skin that was left behind comes off, and this helps me to avoid picking out a drill to my cuticles because it can hurt and you want to avoid getting hurt and creating cuts. I don't usually push back my cuticle straight. I always go in a circular motion. I circle, 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 push, circle, 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 push to ensure that I'm actually lifting that dead cuticle off of my nail bed. I am cleaning away my cuticles with some acetone and a cotton ball to take some of that debris away, and I am going to prepare for nipping. So I'm not gonna do nothing crazy. I'm just gonna nip away at just a little bit because I already did a manicure the night before, but I didn't do in detail. I just did it fast. So today I don't really have too much to nip away. I'm just taking away a little bit of the dead skin that has lifted just to make sure it doesn't get in my way when applying my acrylic. Once you're done nipping your cuticles, you want to clean them and disinfect them with a little bit of sanitizer. Alcohol. I take some alcohol and I spray it onto my nail brush and I brush my nails on the top and towards the cuticle, and also it helps as a dehydrator. And once I take away all my oils and disinfect my cuticles with the alcohol, I go in with some acetone and I do the same step. I apply onto my brush one hand, and then I apply onto the brush again, and then I do the next hand with both products to ensure that my nail beds are completely oil free. And I'm going to set up to start my acrylic, and I am going to add a few monomer scent drops. This helps the monomer kind of dilute the smell because it's very, very strong, but it helps, and it smells like cherries, so it smells so good every time you get your nails done. It smells like cherries. Once you have dehydrated your nails with your alcohol and your acetone, you want to I had a dehydrator, a nail dehydrator, and a primer before you apply your acrylic or UV gel or press-ons, however you do it. Not regular press-ons, but like gel X style. You want to make sure to do this step. Here I am thinking I'm going to do some encapsulation. So I grabbed some of my dry flowers and I'm nipping away at the colors that I'm going to use with my acrylic set. And originally I had set aside one flower, a big flower, for me to just do my ring finger as an accent finger of encapsulation. But halfway through, I had decided I wanted to do my thumbs as well. And you're going to see me pick out some more flowers. And I actually loved that I changed my mind on this because they came out so beautiful, honestly. Once I have picked out my little flowers, I am going to go in with my dehydrator and start applying dehydrator to my nail plate so that it can further dehydrate my nail to prepare for my application process. Now that I've completely dehydrated my nail plate and added the dehydrator to remove all the oils off of it, I am going in with my primer so that my acrylic can stick and stay. So I'm adding a small bead halfway down my nail from the tip to the free edge, and then I'm gonna be adding another bead at the top so that I can complete my nail. And I go in with other beads if I feel like I need it. But unfortunately, I wish I could have recorded this video better so you could have seen that process. But maybe when I do my next full set, I'll make sure my camera is recording properly, because that was the reason why it didn't catch all my application. But here I am going in with my fake flowers to do the encapsulation after I've applied my bead to my ring finger so that they can stick. I am doing a thinner coat of acrylic on that nail, since it's the nail that I will be encapsulating, because I will be adding a clear acrylic coat on top. So I want to avoid having such a bulky nail and not having to then file away all the product I just applied, so that it is a right shape. That's why I go in with thinner. On my thumb, I'm doing the same process as my ring finger. I'm applying just a thin layer of acrylic, just enough for my flowers to stick onto, since I'm going to be going back in with a clear coat of acrylic. Here I'm completing my nail structure. I am adding the top cuticle bead, I guess you can call it. And I'm also going in with my clear coat to encapsulate my flowers. I love to apply another coat on the top of my cuticle and blending it towards the bottom where my encapsulated material is, to especially flowers, to give it like a milk bath type of feel so that they blend in. And then I go in and I seal it with my clear. As you can see, this bead was giving me a problem, but this is what they look like completely dry. And I wish I could have recorded my painting process, but this is the result, and they are completely gorgeous. I love them. I think they're my favorite set so far. I did some cat eye effects, a full nail cat eye, and then I did some French cat eye. I added some more cat eye flowers to my encapsulated nails to show kind of like a flower field. I added a butterfly, beautiful 3D butterfly, and some more flowers on my cat eye French. Simple white flowers to go along with these little flowers that I have. And they just look so beautiful and ready for spring.